Century High School. Make sure you're taking the time to make some memories this weekend. We've had an excellent festivities of homecoming this week. The weekend's just getting ready to kick off. As I mentioned in the announcements, remember, we represent ourselves at the highest level of being safe, responsible, and respectful. You will see the tone of what we have for Coronation here to be, see, climbing on each other isn't in a dignified manner. So let's get that out of our system right now. Find your own seat. So when this begins, we are on point, which means we are paying attention to the speakers. We are paying attention to our MCs, Miss Omi and Mr. Olson, and cheering loudly for our King and Queen candidates. We then transition into the Pep Fest. And again, that's where you get an opportunity to share your Century spirit and energy. So cell phones are off, hands to yourself, pay attention, make some memories this weekend. Positive, fun memories, that's what this is all about. For those alumni that are back, welcome. Thank you for setting this tradition of excellence with your academic growth, your academic expectations, and we continue that on here. We ready to begin? All right. Please give your undivided attention, respect, and care to our MCs. Give them a loud round of applause for Miss Omi and Mr. Olson.
Thank you, Principal Fogarty. Greetings to Century student body, staff members, families, and especially alumni. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Century's 20th anniversary coronation ceremony. I am Ms. Omi.
And I'm Mr. Olson, and we are honored to serve as your MCs. Today's coronation marks the 19th homecoming celebration at Century High School. In 1999, we crowned our first king, Eric Bongi, and our first queen, Mama Ane. At that time, Mr. Gatke's son, Nikela, was junior royalty, and our original office manager's daughter was Nikela's partner. Mr. Queasley was our Grand Marshal that year.
Each year, the Century student government chooses someone to be the Grand Marshal for homecoming. We have had everyone from retired teachers and maintenance men to favorite middle school teachers, and even a former weatherman. This year, in honor of the 20th anniversary, the Grand Marshal is Century's first student body president, Tyler Bowman.
Tyler was born and raised in Rochester. He went to Gage Elementary, John Adams Middle School, and then he spent his freshman year at John Marshall and Friedel. That was, of course, before Friedel was a middle school. In the fall of 1997, Tyler became a Century Panther. And he and his good friend Melanie Schneider held the offices of student body president and vice president for 3 years. In June of 2000, Tyler graduated from Century with the rest of Century's first ever graduating class. Tyler showed up in snowmobile boots to the graduation because that was the one kind of footwear the principal forgot to mention as not allowed.
Tyler holds a Bachelor's of Science in Law Enforcement from Minnesota State University in Cato. He has served as a Anoka County Deputy Sheriff for 9 years. Tyler married his wife, Ashley, in 2013. They live in Fridley with their 4 dogs. He and Ashley foster dogs for the Animal Humane Society. Tyler recently completed his Master's of Business Administration from Concordia University in St. Paul. In his free time, he enjoys wake surfing, cooking, baking, and barbecuing. So once again, please join me in welcoming Tyler back to Century with a round of applause.
Good afternoon, my fellow Century Panthers. It feels great to be home. A little over a month ago, Mrs. Gardner asked if I would be this year's homecoming Grand Marshal. She then told me that Century is celebrating its 20th anniversary. At that point, I thought of three things. The first, wow, what an honor. The second, boy, am I getting old. And third, Tyler, don't pull Steve Harvey and crown the wrong queen. I humbly accepted this, and here I am. I was asked to prepare a few remarks to give you folks a window to what life at Century was like 20 years ago. I had no idea where to start, so I dusted off my old yearbooks and contacted my fellow alum. My fellow alum told me and reminded me of all the unique experiences we had. They were helpful, so let's hop in that time machine and take a look back at what Century High School was like in September of 1997. 20 years ago, the classes of 2000, 2001, and Century staff walked the doors of Century High School for the first time. As we walked through the doors, that first day we dodged construction equipment and construction workers who were still building our facility. Only one academic wing was complete. The cafeteria, the auditorium, and gymnasium were far from being built. There were moving boxes all over the place, and many of the interior walls and room dividers were missing. For students, the only way to get here was by walking, by bus, or being dropped off by parents. You see, we had a parking lot that was really small, and it was safe for staff and buses only. For me, this was near torture. I'd been waiting 16 long years to be able to drive, and there I was riding in that big yellow school bus. Later that year, we were given an opportunity to purchase our blue parking pass so we could drive ourselves. Of course, you can bet I was one of the first person in line to get my parking pass. When we started the 97-98 school year, we were on an intensive block schedule. Our classes were 90 minutes long. 90 minutes long. As horrible as that might sound, we loved it, and many of us followed the schedule to be beneficial. We loved it so much that as they announced that it would not be returning for 1998-99, you could hear us chanting in protest, block scheduling, or bust. We nearly wore out the forum that first year. The forum served numerous purposes. One of the main uses for our forum was as our cafeteria. Believe it or not, we would get our food from what would soon be a science classroom. The forum also served as a Panther Playhouse dinner theater and served as a host to numerous school dances, including our first ever semi-formal, known as Space Jam. I didn't choose it, but Space Jam could also be used to describe how our physical education department must have felt that first year. They didn't have the gym, so the fine teachers were creative and used the halls for activities such as bowling, and also used our stairs to go up and down to keep our heart rates up. We didn't have varsity sports our first year because we didn't have juniors or seniors. Some of our students were able to play at the varsity levels at John Marshall and Mayo High School, as they were Century Panthers. Kind of weird, I know, but that's what they were able to do. In the fall of 1998, our varsity program began here at Century. So how did our football team do that first year? Well, they lost every game. The toughest loss was to Owatonna with a score of 62-0. I know, I was there, it was horrible. It wasn't until a crisp fall evening in 1999 that our football team pulled off a huge upset against our crosstown rivals, the Mayo Spartans. I bet most of the fans in attendance that night can still remember the score. For those that might have forgotten, Century 16, male 7. Exactly. You see, folks, that is a night like it all felt like it came together. All of our hard work over the last 3 years establishing our traditions, our programs, and activities paid off. The football team's first ever win that evening was the last piece of the puzzle to make us feel like a real high school. Now, I've spoken a lot about what we didn't have in 1997, so let me tell you what we did have. We had the opportunity to start something new. We had the opportunity to choose the school colors, the mascots, and traditions. Many of those traditions continue to this day. While looking through those yearbooks I dusted off, I found an article titled, "A Last Word." I vaguely remember writing this back in 2000. It was my opportunity to recap the last 3 years and what we had accomplished. In the article, I challenged the future classes of Century to continue building on tradition and making Century the very best it could be. So, to the class of 2018, let's try that again. You guys here today, seniors? Class of 2018? How about 2019? You guys here? 2020? And 2021. And in the future classes of Century High School, my challenge continues. Make Century the very best it can be. Don't just attend, but participate and get involved. High school, as with life, is how you make it. I look around today and I can't help but feel a sense of pride. The traditions that we started 20 years ago are not only alive, but they've been built upon and improved. I was a proud Century Panther 20 years ago, and 20 years later I stand here impressed with what Century has become. Thank you again for this opportunity to serve as your 2017 Homecoming Grand Marshal. I leave you with this. Enjoy tonight, enjoy tomorrow, be safe, and have fun.
I speak for all of Century in thanking Telephone for coming back and sharing your enthusiasm and your words of wisdom, and clearly the booze. Clearly the booze. Mr. Olson.
Okay, folks, next up, we have another treat. This year, we are lucky to have musical entertainment from 2 members of our homecoming court. Spencer Ketterling and Sterling Homer will be performing Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me somewhere over the rainbow. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
Thank you, Mrs. Sterling. And now, let's meet our top 5 couples. Carmen Reed is the daughter of Ravinder Singh and Ashley Kapoor. And Andrew is the son of Lisa and Craig Swenson. When asked which adult she would most like to have met when that person was in high school, Carmen Reed said, Mrs. Wells. In answer to the same question, Andrew says he would most like to have met Mr. Olson. To Carmen Reed, home is wherever her dog is, and to Andrew, home is the band room. A song that describes Carmen's life is I'm a Mess by Ed Sheeran. And one that describes Andrew's life is 433 by John Cage. If Carmen and Andrew could sum up their time at Century in one word, Carmen would say lovely, and Andrew would say hype.
Next up, we have Catherine and Nathan. Catherine is the daughter of Michael and Margaret Doherty, and Nathan is the son of Randy and Catherine Marks. Both have hidden talents. Catherine can touch her nose with her tongue, and Nathan jams hardcore on the ukulele. I've seen this. Catherine's dream vacation is backpacking in Ireland, and Nathan's dream vacation is a ski trip to the Swiss Alps. One thing on Catherine's bucket list is to pilot an airplane, and one thing on Nathan's bucket list is to backpack through Europe. Catherine's favorite thing about Rochester is the thrill of biking near Silver Lake with geese hissing at her. those same geese at Silver Lake.
Rachel is and Jennifer Rand, and Ian is the son of Jackie and Margaret Gill. Rachel's dream job is to be Barack Obama's best friend, and Ian's dream job is being able to work for his BFF, Brian Gill. One famous person that Rachel would want to meet is Obama, because she thinks he's a pretty cool guy. One famous person Ian would want to meet is Steve Johnson, because he's a dealer for the people. Rachel's favorite snack food is pickles and peanut butter, and Ian's favorite snack is Chex Mix. Rachel's hidden talent is her ability to eat an entire Go-Gurt in under 7 seconds. Ian can hold his breath for 10 seconds, 12 seconds, if he really tries.
Next up we have Teresa. Spencer is the son of Rhett and Judith Ketterling. Teresa's favorite thing about Century is seeing her wonderful friends and Century staff every day. And Spencer's favorite thing about school is also his amazing group of friends. Teresa's dream vacation is to visit Africa, Australia, and the United Kingdom. And Spencer's dream vacation is to spend some time in Scranton, Pennsylvania, the setting of The Office. If Teresa could sum up her time at Century in one word, she would say grounding. And if Spencer could sum up his time in one word, he would say yike. Teresa's most embarrassing moment at Century is when she accidentally walked into the men's restroom when she was a confused freshman. Spencer's most embarrassing moment came when he called Mr. Fogarty Mr. Ferguson to his face.
And now, we have Abby. Abby is the daughter of Ron and Catherine Hollitz, and Sterling is the son of Mark and Amy Homard. Abby's favorite thing about Century is Mr. Fogarty, and Sterling's favorite thing about Century is the swimming pool. A song that describes Abby's life is Nobody's Perfect by Hannah Montana, and one that describes Sterling's life is the Century fight song. Of her parents, Abby is most like her mom, Kathy, because she's wild. And between his parents, Sterling is most like his mom because they're both goofy, talkative, and makers of terrible puns. When Abby graduates, she's going to miss seeing all of her friends every day, and Sterling is going to miss his friends and the band.
Okay, now it's time to meet our junior royalty. Caleb John Kopp is the son of Century graduate Melissa Harwick and Clay Kopp. His grandmother Liz also works at Century. Caleb's home is in Mankato, where he is in the first grade at Kennedy Elementary School. The thing he likes best about school is the library. For fun, school. His dream vacation would be to go to a Legoland hotel and resort. His favorite music is the High School Musical soundtrack. Just like me. His hidden talent is that already he reads at a 4th grade level, which is pretty awesome. Finally, when he grows up, he would like to be a police officer, a firefighter, or an army man.
Walking with Caleb is Kira Jean Kafka, the daughter of Kayla Kafka and the granddaughter of Century Charter staff member Valerie Kafka, also known as Meemaw. Oh, I know, Meemaw. Kira calls Stewartville home, and the two things she likes best about Century are doing math in Meemaw's classroom and being a member of today's junior royalty. Kira's in kindergarten at the Woodson Kindergarten Center, where she enjoys projects and playing on the playground. Kira has a fish named Bubbles. For fun, she likes to play games, build with Legos, go to the zoo, and read books. Excellent. Her dream vacation is to go to Disney Paris again. Kira's hidden talent is that she likes to dance. When she grows up, she wants to be a doctor and play sports. Kira's favorite song is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
Okay, folks, now is the moment we've all been waiting for. Your votes have been counted, and it's time to crown a king and queen for this year's homecoming court.
Grand Marshal Bowman will now crown the queen. But could we get a drum roll, please?
I'm so excited. The king, queen, and the court will now recess out of the gym and will rejoin us for the Pep Fest in a few minutes. Let's give them one more round of applause.